Pancho encounters Chaval in a state of perplexity. He suggests an excursion to Sabadia to see the Wise One, Inthios, in the monastery of the Brotherhood of the Evasion of Reality. This is what is said.
What befell and what bequeathed dying sturdy Girder?
There are other forces that are driving us. And we have much less control than we think.
The origin of the cheerleader are still unclear.
I have many questions.
Some days he speaks, other days he watches, but the Wise One, Inkios, knows many things. Many things. He lives alone in a place called Sabadia, in the monastery of the Brotherhood of the Evasion of Reality. There's no known path. It's more of a hopeful groping.
I'm in search of that warm, fuzzy feeling I used to know, which now seems to elude me. I wish to acquire the smile of well-being again.
After speech, Inkios is gone. Speech is gone. Gone. Gone.
Through the streets of Oviedo, Lucia walks alone, lost in her thoughts, sometimes verbalizing a morsel.
Outgrown, we run amok. On the outside, we never babble forth to reveal the churning cauldron. It's only a murmur, a simmering murmur.
Her connection to Chaval is mostly telepathic.
mean, we can fill this space with words, or we can leave it blank to cement.
Let them come and beckon. A challenge to the hoisters of routine, standing apart with a reassured volition.
Delirious assessments of your ritual engravings?
Lack of intuition prepares us for spellbound metamorphosis.
I could not navigate a Nimrod through this dusty quagmire.
With meaningful sidesteps, we will elude the authorities.
Seemingly simultaneously spiraling downward and ascending upward.
We caress the outer face without knowing the depths of plunge.
A conglomeration of random philosophers dying on the bones of this topsy-turvy music, and streaks of light were seen behind the eyelids like green waterfalls. Cascada Verde. Musty caverns holds the original manuscript delayed 1,000 years by a gaggle of geeks. Up ahead is the cave of the non-sequiturs, whose random speech patterns were documented in the Age of Splats.
While we're speaking of the new, we're experiencing old awakenings.
They are both 2000. It takes 20 years to assimilate.
The light will bring its friend the shadows, and our heart will burst with the delicate contrast.
history. History rebuffs the teetering odds.
A fierce preponderance of tiny signs.
A random display of illuminated facades.
Listening more from inside than with our ears. That which we lost long ago. The lost power of comprehending reality in its pure state. Watch the animals. They know when something is amiss.
In my dream, the words were like paintings, and all the sounds became music.
Step-headed Hattop. The fury unfolds. The frenzy befolds.
The logic of poetry and dreams, which is a non-logic, parades its guiltless longings.
unearthed the essence, and now she's hiding from us.
Chris Bucklet besieged, aloof but widening the marginal smile.
Unveiled to reveal the symbiotic urges.
Dawn is passing on a souped-up freight train.
Yeah, we from my ranchito. Il de
Since all is changing, all is moving, the formulas will become obsolete. Science no longer valid. Then poetry will have won.
A clean slate is forthcoming. And then the diner's card be revoked.
I'm imagining a two-fold temptress playing an Nova-Cleat in a sunny bonnet.
I see that you are taken aback in my fourth wokeness. It is only a sideline. Normally I'm more centered than that. Once the coffee kicks in and the cobwebs clear, I'm out of the sun.
Under the table, over the hill, beside the point, down the pike. Under the table, over the hill, beside the point, down the pike.
This undertaking overtake us from all sides.
We are now underwhelmed. The village of the dancing frogs. It was here that the word light was invented so it could be drastically overused by California college girls and spread like a disease. I once counted 27 usages in a 40-second snippet of speech.
The sound of the bells carry on wind to the tops of mountains. But is lost in the valley, mountains baffle.
Juxtaposition is the equivalent of the frog's light.
An opening, a quivering, guides us.
Of a frog's light.
An opening, a quivering, guides us.
Is the equivalent of the frog's light. Of the frog's light. I am the slide.
Waterfall, waterfall, washing my pains away. Waterfall, washing my pains away. Waterfall, washing my pains away. Waterfall, waterfall, washing my pains away. Waterfall.
2012 is an ushering in a new era. An era of communication without language, without words. Ironically, I need to use words to tell you this.
Some of the things have great deep meaning, others are fodder for thought. Some of the things have great deep meaning, others are fodder for thought. Some of the things have great deep meaning, others are fodder for thought. Some of the things have great meaning, others are fodder for thought. Great meaning! Great meaning! Great meaning!
portrait captivates Marmor.
I can't fathom the reacting sun.
We will soon sleep through the thunder.
Wave of emotional bleach mosaic.
Feasting is only one E away from fasting.
The guide is well nourished and will keep us entertained.
Do a loop, but it's more like a labyrinth.
Is there an echo in here? Is there an echo in here?
We could do a loop, but it's more like a labyrinth.
Is there an echo in here? Is there an echo in here? Is there an echo in here? Is there an echo in here?
We could do a loop, but it's more like a labyrinth.
Is there an echo in here?
Do a loop, but it's more like a labyrinth.
Is there an echo in here? Is there an echo in here? Is there an echo in here?
Do a loop, but it's more like a labyrinth.
Is there an echo in here? 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 Prohibido el paso, 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 prohibido el paso.
Lost in blissful days, an imaginary comfort pervades.
He used to make poetic writings and finagle shyster.
The prose and counts.
Maybe you ought to sound out of guts that strange word that freezes your tongue.
No recuerdo en qué idioma nosotros hablar.
All awash in sounds, the heavy silence follows. We request that the state is trimmed and the legislate. Fragrant are the memories that hold us bound.
Cliff of tears, cliff of tears. Why do you make me uncontrollably weak? Cliff of tears, cliff of tears. Why do you make me uncontrollably weak?
Somewhat in the cyclic sky, my lunatic drivel finds voice. Brought home by demons and showcased by saviors in a light metal casing.
Enlarge the odometer metric bully.
Engage the sages with their twisted lemon suffering.
Let's go no further in the essential reading.
As prelude to a blistered dawn reveals marked hope. A thought so remote and fleeting that we committed to the abyss of memory.
Then slightly on the preformed nuance, lest we give away the spokesman.
The dying man full of glee, what will become of thee?
Grim restrain of a notable ditty blasting from the firewall.
Our non-rhyming scheme will appease the aquatics.
It's a conscious betrayal of formulaic glitz. Cloud path parade, but with a solemn music. Those are our days, softly passing.
Destiny pours a beer.
In a dream, I saw the future, and it's organic robots.
Yeah, an awkward moment, I guess, to be perlusive.
Don't listen with your brain, and he will purify your thoughts.
The things go through you like a river, passing, cleansing.
With a manifold destiny, I'll summon the clappers, grasping fruitfully the spoils of region. Relinquish the charitable funds, and I will only too happily elaborate. Live equivocably, with soul boundless, tatters worn like banners, let the dust unfold. Deviating from a skin or synopsis, start that furnace promptly. Elegant bathers begat the frenzied mob, while divers purified the soil with their non-stepping. On range naked proclaim, mishap, ineffective, confide 11. Being somewhat of a visionary, I carry a touch of the burning fever. Remodeled kitchens reek of squandered hopes. Pass the peace like we used to do.
Breath not, but sign the overwhelming odds.
Rivalry is a form of weakness, none weaker than the victor.
And what of the changing climate and the ongoing battles?
No harm shall befall the disaster woman. She is the designated driver, the voice of unreason. Shed 3 blankets. It's warming to the tune of forest barks.
A goblin pension will stifle their queries.
Somewhere in that crowd you leave your life behind, and that gleaming smile is just a detonator. Stargazing mortals delight in patterns. Even in vast space there is a decipherable text. Bask in the wonderment. Things fall into place if you let them, as in the would-be swimmer whose fear of water keeps him from swimming, who after realizes he can float. As in life, as in music, if you let go you can float. It is told that those who stand on the cliff of tears uncontrollably weep, but then the soul is purged and they can move on. My son danced on that rock. This day he went to Florida and was there.
Upon returning to the city after the journey to Sabadia, Chaval feels like a new man. In fact, he is a new man, played by a completely different actor.
You assume I'm late, but have you arrived?
Muy buena.
not able to understand the words in a normal sense, he realizes he can decipher the message through sensations and emotions. He is then completely awash in color, sound, and a warm inner vibration.